I woke up this morning and checked my phone. There was a message waiting for me. It told me exactly what time to get out of bed, what to eat, what to wear, whether to respond to my best friend's text or ignore it. And I did it. All of it. For the next 24 hours, I wasn't going to make a single decision on my own. And what happened? I still don't know if I can fully explain. Let me back up. 2 weeks ago, I was lying in bed at 2 a.m., scrolling through my phone like I always do, and I had this thought that wouldn't leave me alone. How many decisions do I actually make in a day? Not the big ones. I'm talking about the tiny ones, the automatic ones. What to eat, when to check my phone, whether to say yes or no to plans, whether to take the stairs or the elevator. Hundreds, maybe thousands. And honestly, most of them felt exhausting. So I started wondering, what if I just didn't? What if I handed all of that over to something else? Something that didn't get tired, didn't second guess itself, didn't feel anxiety at 2 a.m. What if I let an artificial intelligence control my life for an entire day? Not as a joke, not as some extreme tech experiment, but as a real test, to see what would happen, to see who I'd become. The rules were simple. For exactly 24 hours, I wouldn't make a single decision on my own. I'd ask the AI what to do, and I'd do it, no matter what. Big decisions, small decisions, everything. The AI wouldn't know my schedule. It wouldn't have access to my calendar or my messages. It would just respond to whatever situation I described, and I'd follow its instructions exactly. I set the start time for 6 a.m. the next morning. I told myself I could quit any time if things got dangerous or truly unbearable. But short of that, I was committed. I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. Not my family, not my friends. I wanted this to be as real as possible. That night, I barely slept. I kept thinking about what could go wrong. What if the AI told me to do something humiliating? What if I lost my job? What if I ruined a relationship? But another part of me was curious, almost relieved. For one day, I wouldn't have to be the one deciding. I could just follow instructions. My alarm went off at 5:55 a.m. I sat up in bed, heart pounding. The room was still dark. I could hear birds starting to chirp outside. At exactly 6 a.m., I opened my phone and typed the first message. I just woke up. What should I do? The response came back in seconds. Stay in bed for 7 more minutes. Use this time to focus on your breathing. Don't check any notifications. After 7 minutes, get up, open your curtains, and drink a full glass of water before doing anything else. I stared at the screen. It was such a specific answer, and honestly, not what I would have done. I would have grabbed my phone immediately, started scrolling, let the anxiety of the day flood in before I even stood up. But I didn't. I lay there, I breathed, I counted the seconds in my head. And when 7 minutes passed, I got up, opened the curtains. The morning light hit my face, and I felt strange, like I was watching myself from outside my body. I drank the water. Then I asked the next question. What should I have for breakfast? Make scrambled eggs with spinach and a slice of whole grain toast. Eat slowly, no phone. I don't usually eat breakfast. I usually just grab coffee and something quick, eating while I answer emails. But I made the eggs. I sat down at the table and I ate in complete silence. It felt wrong, uncomfortable, but also kind of peaceful. What should I wear today? Choose something comfortable but intentional, not your default outfit. Pick one item you rarely wear and build around it. I opened my closet and stood there. There was this jacket, a dark green one. I bought it a year ago and wore it maybe twice. It always felt like too much, too noticeable. I put it on, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt ridiculous. I kept looking at myself in the mirror, thinking everyone was going to stare at me. but I wore it. At 8 a.m., I had a notification, a text from my friend Sarah. "Hey, want to grab lunch today?" Normally, I'd say yes without thinking. Sarah and I have lunch at least once a week, but I wasn't allowed to decide. I typed, "A friend just invited me to lunch. Should I go?" The response, "Ask her where she wants to go and what time. Don't commit yet. Say you need to check your schedule." That felt cold, un-me, but I did it. I wrote back, "Where and what time? Let me check my schedule." She replied, "That new Thai place at 1? I asked the AI again. "Decline politely. Suggest rescheduling for another day. Tell her you need today to focus, but you'd love to catch up soon." I felt sick typing it. Sarah and I never cancel on each other. She was going to think something was wrong, but I sent the message. Her response came fast. "Oh, okay. Everything all right?" I wanted to explain, to tell her it wasn't personal, but the AI said, "Respond with, 'Yeah, all good. Just need a focus day. Let's do Friday.'" I sent it. She replied with a thumbs up, and I felt like the worst friend in the world. The morning continued like that. Every email, every small choice, every moment of hesitation. Should I take this call? Should I go to the gym now or later? Should I reply to this message? The AI always had an answer, and I always followed it. But here's what started to happen. I stopped feeling like myself. Every action felt like I was playing a character, going through the motions that weren't mine. At the same time, I wasn't stressed. I wasn't overthinking. The constant buzz of decision fatigue that usually lives in my chest, it was gone. It was unsettling. By 11 a.m., I was sitting at my desk working on a project that was overdue. I'd been avoiding it for days. I asked, "I have a project due soon, but I've been procrastinating. What should I do?" "Work on it for 45 minutes. No distractions. Put your phone in another room. After 45 minutes, take a 10-minute walk outside, then return and work for another 45 minutes. I stared at the message. I wanted to argue, to say I work better in shorter bursts, to check my phone just in case. But I didn't. I put my phone in the kitchen, I sat down and I worked. And you know what? I got more done in that first 45 minutes than I had in the past 2 days. When the timer went off, I stood up, walked outside, and just existed for 10 minutes. No podcast, no music, no scrolling, just walking. It felt alien, like I had forgotten how to just be. The afternoon is when things got harder. I got an email from my boss. She wanted to schedule a meeting to discuss my performance. The tone was neutral, but my brain immediately went to the worst-case scenario. I'm getting fired, I messed something up, she's disappointed. I typed, "I just got a stressful email from my boss. I want to reply immediately and over-explain. What should I do?" The AI, "Do not reply yet. Wait at least 2 hours. Use that time to review your recent work objectively. Write down 3 things you've done well this month. When you reply, keep it brief and professional. Suggest 2 time slots and nothing more." I stared at the message. Every instinct in wanted to reply right away, to apologize for things I hadn't even done wrong, to people-please my way out of anxiety. But I closed my laptop. I waited. And during those 2 hours, the panic started to fade. I reviewed my work. I realized I'd actually been doing fine, better than fine. When I finally replied, it was calm, confident, and my boss responded an hour later with a friendly message confirming a time. That was it. No drama, no disaster, just a meeting. I sat there thinking, how many times do I create stress out of nothing? How many times do I spiral because I react too fast? By 4 p.m., I was starting to feel something I didn't expect. Resentment. Not toward the AI, toward myself. Because the AI wasn't doing anything magical. It wasn't reading my mind or predicting the future. It was just not overthinking. It was making simple, logical choices, and somehow that was better than what I usually did. I felt stupid, weak, like I'd been failing at something this basic my entire life. At 6 p.m., my mom called. I asked, "My mom is calling. Should I answer?" "Yes, answer with full attention, don't multitask, listen more than you speak." I picked up. "Hey, sweetheart, how are you?" Normally, I'd say good on autopilot and half listen while doing something else, but I sat down. I focused. "I'm good, Mom. How are you?" And we talked, really talked. She told me about her day, about something my dad said that annoyed her, about a book she was reading, and I just listened. I wasn't waiting for my turn to speak. I wasn't thinking about what to say next. I was just there. When we hung up, she said, "This was really nice. I feel like I haven't talked to you like this in a while." I felt a lump in my throat. She was right. At 7 p.m., I was supposed to meet up with some friends. It was a standing plan we'd had for 2 weeks, but I didn't want to go. I was tired, emotionally drained. I just wanted to stay home, order food, and watch something mindless. I asked, "I have plans with friends tonight, but I'm exhausted. Should I cancel?" The AI, "Go. You committed to this 2 weeks ago. Arrive on time, stay for at least 90 minutes, and be present. If you're still drained after that, you can leave early." I wanted to scream. I didn't want to go. My body felt heavy. The idea of being social felt impossible. But I'd made a promise. For 24 hours, I'd follow through. So I went. I met them at a bar, 4 friends I've known for years. The first 20 minutes, I felt like I was forcing it, smiling when I didn't feel it, laughing on cue. But then something shifted. Someone told a story, a ridiculous one about their terrible date last week, and I actually laughed, a real laugh. And then I told a story, and someone else did. And by the time 90 minutes passed, I didn't want to leave. I stayed for 3 hours. When I got home that night, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. I asked the AI, "Why did you make me go when I didn't want to?" It responded, "You needed connection, not isolation. Exhaustion often lies about what will restore you." I read that line 5 times. At 10 p.m., I was winding down. I asked, "What should I do before bed?" "Write down 3 things that surprised you today. Then turn off all screens, read for 20 minutes, and go to sleep by 11. I grabbed a notebook. I wrote, 1. I'm more productive when I don't have distractions. 2. I over-explain when I'm anxious and it makes things worse. 3. I almost missed a great night because I trusted my mood more than my commitment. I turned off my phone. I picked up a book I'd been meaning to read for months, and I read. At 11, I turned off the light, and I fell asleep faster than I had in years. I woke up at 6 a.m. the next morning. The experiment was over. I reached for my phone, ready to type another question, but I stopped because I didn't need to. The day was mine again. And I felt empty, relieved, confused, all at once. So what did I learn? Honestly, I'm still processing it. But here's what I know. The AI didn't control my life. It gave me structure, clarity, distance from my own spiraling thoughts. It didn't make better decisions than me. It just made decisions without fear, without second guessing, without the weight of every past mistake. And that's what I realized I'd been missing. Not intelligence, not logic, just confidence. The ability to choose something and not torture myself over whether it was right. But here's the thing that really haunts me. The AI didn't know me. It didn't know my history, my relationships, my fears. And yet, it guided me through one of the clearest-headed days I've had in years. Which means the chaos wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from me. From overthinking, overfeeling, overanalyzing every single moment until I was paralyzed. And I wonder, how many of us are doing that? How many of us are drowning in decisions not because they're hard, but because we've convinced ourselves they matter more than they do? How many of us are so terrified of making the wrong choice that we forget how to make any choice at all? I'm not saying I want to live like that forever. I don't. Because as helpful as it was, I also felt like I lost something. I lost spontaneity. I lost the messy, imperfect beauty of just being human, of making mistakes, of changing my mind, of trusting my gut even when it doesn't make sense. But I also don't want to go back to the way I was before, drowning in indecision, paralyzed by fear, letting anxiety make all my choices for me. So maybe the answer is somewhere in between. Maybe the lesson isn't that I need an AI to control my life. Maybe it's that I need to learn to trust myself the way I trusted it, to make a choice and move forward, to stop agonizing over every tiny thing, to remember that most decisions aren't permanent, most mistakes aren't fatal, and sometimes the best thing you can do is just pick something, anything, and see what happens. I don't know if I'll ever do this again, but I'm glad I did it once. Because now I know what it feels like to live without the constant weight of doubt. And I know it's possible. Not because a machine told me what to do, but because I finally let go of the belief that every decision defines me. If you're watching this and you feel the same way I did, stuck in your own head, exhausted by the smallest choices, unsure if you even know who you are anymore, I just want you to know, you're not broken. You're just human. And maybe the hardest part of being human isn't making the wrong choice. It's believing you deserve to make any choice at all. Trust yourself, even when it's messy, even when it's wrong, because the only way forward is through. Thanks for watching.